Hi guys, this is GSMDome.com and I'm here with the Xiaomi Redmi Note 13 Pro Plus 5G. I know it's a mouthful, but it's the latest mid-range offering from Xiaomi. We have it in the Aurora purple version with half a terabyte of storage and 12 gigs of RAM. So this time they're offering us the usual proposition flagship worthy phone with a mid-range price. It's around 400 to 500 euros. It's been available in Europe right now and it's been selling in China for a month or two. We have here an interestingly colored backside with three colors, actually 1, 2, 3, and this purple area here. The camera doesn't protrude very much and the handset is quite elegant, once again reminiscent of a flagship. So we're getting a large AMOLED screen, a triple back camera with a main 200 megapixel sensor, IP68 certification, and a charge in just 19 minutes. Meet the Redmi Note 13 Pro Plus. And now let's see what's inside the box after the device boots up. So this comes after the Redmi Note 12 Pro Plus last year was launched around March, so it comes earlier, this device this time. Okay, so in the box we should have the following. We start off with the metal key used to access the nano SIM card slots. Then we have the quick start guide and warranty card, plus a bunch of safety information. And of course a case that protects the device and leaves the beautiful camera area to be seen. Okay, so still booting up, took quite a while. This actually surprised me how long it took. Also in the box we have this cable here going from USB-C to USB-A. And of course the star of the box, the charger. 120 watts, designed by Xiaomi, with a USB-A adapter, connector, and well, that's pretty much it as far as the accessories are concerned. Okay, so this is the actual device. We have the always on display activated. Time to talk about the features. First and foremost, it's got a pretty looking curved design. As you can see right here, when I say curved, I'm referring to the front panel, curved on the sides. The back panel as well is curved. The thickness has remained the same as the predecessor, which is 8.9 millimeters. It's 4 grams lighter now at 204 grams. It's got glass at the back side. There's also an Eco leather version, just so you know, and colors include black, white, Aurora purple, fusion purple, and camo green. It's got IP68 certification, up from the IP53 of the predecessor, and I should probably also mention that there's Gorilla Glass Victus protection at the front side instead of Gorilla Glass 5 like the previous model had. Obviously glass at the front with some very narrow bezels and a very bright screen, AMOLED this time instead of the OLED from last year. Now speaking of which, the panel you can see right here, it's a 6.67 incher and it's of the AMOLED variety with a 2712 over 1220 pixels. It's got 120 Hz refresh rate, it shows 68 billion colors and has Dolby Vision support, as well as a promise of HDR10 Plus and up to 1800 nits of brightness. Now, I should probably mention that it's a similar panel to the predecessor in spite of the upgrade of the Gorilla Glass and maybe the number of colors. Now inside we find the processor which we've seen before but in other versions. So this one here is the MediaTek Dimensity 7200 Ultra. Now it's a 4 nanometer chip. The predecessor had a 6 nanometer Dimensity 1080, so that's an upgrade, and it's an octa-core chip with a Mali G610 MC4 GPU. The processor here was also seen on a few Vivo and iQOO phones. Now what I'm impressed by is the large quantity of RAM, 12 gigs, and also it's LPDDR5 RAM, so it's quite fast, plus half a terabyte of storage, 512 to be more precise. The phone also comes with 8 gigs of RAM, 16 gigs of RAM, so you have your pick. It's UFS 3.1 storage. You can also go with 256 in case this is too much. Well, there's no micro SD card slot here, but there's a hefty 5000 mAh battery which charges at 120 watts via wire. It should go up from 0 to 100% in just 19 minutes, just like the predecessor once again. There's no audio jack here, as you can see for yourself, but you do have an infrared emitter here. This is the top speaker, this is the bottom speaker in a stereo speaker system with Dolby. And as far as the connectivity is concerned, the device provides you with stuff like 5G, Wi-Fi 6, Bluetooth 5.3, GPS, GLONASS, BDS, Galileo, QZSS, and NFC. Of course, you saw the infrared emitter at the top before. Now, aside from that, this is a dual SIM phone, which also proposes an USB-C 2.0 port at the bottom side. And if you look at the screen's top side, you'll see a cutout for a punch hole for a 16 megapixel selfie shooter with f2.4 aperture and also with full HD video capture. Now going to the back side, they really try to make the camera area beautiful, and there's a promise here of Redmi F165 AI camera. That's the main 200 megapixel sensor with OIS and multi-directional phase detection autofocus. It's a Samsung ISOCELL HP3 seen on the Realme 11 Pro Plus last year and the Honor 90. Yes, the aperture is generous f1.65. We also have an 8 megapixel ultra-wide camera with 120-degree capture and f2.2 aperture, and finally a small macro camera here for the, well, takers. We have a dual LED flash here and dual tone as well. And now let's see the features. Xiaomi is known for putting a lot of camera features on its devices, but the interface has changed a bit this time. So the core features include grid lines, voice shutter, watermark, HDR, assist cam, macro, time burst, tilt shift, and an AI camera. The fun starts in the more section, where you can see colorful icons, short film, long exposure, panorama, time-lapse, a pro mode, slow motion, and edit. I'm curious about the pro mode, if it switches between video and photo. Oh yes, it does, which is pretty cool to see. And you get extra options here like focus picking, resolution, sonogram, flash, auto exposure settings, exposure verification, and so much more. And this area also has its own features like full resolution, exposure verification, and 200 megapixel full shots. Aside from the pro mode, there's also the video capture up to 4K 30 frames per second. You can take full 200 megapixel shots, and you can zoom in losslessly at 1x or 2x or even 4x from what I've heard. And then you have the document capture, which detects edges very well. Still exploring the camera features, I'll uncover them as we go by, but I remember that the predecessor was quite decent, even though its main 200 megapixel camera wasn't very far from the one of the Xiaomi 11T, if I remember correctly, or maybe the 12T, rather. Okay, so enough about that. Let's talk about the software. We're dealing here with a handset that provides you with MIUI 14 on top of Android 13, and as usual, aside from the regular RAM, you can also expand RAM with more. So you go here, you have your memory extension with up to 8 gigabytes. Then there's a front camera assistant, floating window, second space, and heart rate. You can use the fingerprint scanner to take your pulse after a few requirements are done. Definitely not hoarding it, right? Okay, pretty decent pulse for the slight level of stress I'm under. Privacy protection is here, digital well-being as well. I'm sure if you seek it well enough, there should be a sidebar here. Not a big fan of the wallpaper, it makes it feel like an animation is stuck in here, but an interesting new thing I uncovered is the app vault. It's basically like your endless scrolling list of app recommendations and widgets, and some of the widgets here are quite cool looking, definitely better than the regular ones. All of them basically recommend stuff from the web, be it applications, news, games, things like that, videos. So yeah, basically it's a replacement of your regular app feed with an online app and content feed. That's the app vault. Of course, we all have the ever useful security area with its tons of features like a cleaner, security scanner, speed booster, battery features, tools for Facebook cleaner. You can test the network, and gamers have the game turbo with quite a few extra features. And this being Xiaomi, you will be rewarded with a sidebar which appears when you're watching YouTube, and also some other video players, which let you tweak the viewing experience. So yeah, that should be it. Let's see if it's actually available before we start speaking. Okay, so YouTube is here. Allow. No sidebar pops up. No sidebar pops up yet, but we'll have to uncover if it does, because it's useful for, well, you know, keeping your window minimized as you listen to tunes, even if you don't have a, you know, account, a special premium account. That's it from us. This has been a presentation of the Xiaomi Redmi Note 13 Pro Plus 5G. A mouthful. To be honest, there aren't huge changes from the predecessor. Still 200 megapixel camera, still the same screen pretty much, but a brand new CPU with much higher power and a more beautiful design, more original design, plus that app vault sounds pretty interesting. I'm going to have to test the camera because I'm very curious about the 4x lossless zoom on account of the 200 megapixel shooter. I will be back with a full review very soon. And also curious about the 19 minutes of charge from 0 to 100. Goodbye.